What are some of the most important patterns of language growth that you've observed in these bilingual children, both with and without DLD?
So I think the most interesting pattern for all the children that we see is that there are really strong and steady growths in English, right? So for all the groups at any stage, from all the different measures we use in the lab, and English growth is very steady and very consistent. What we find that is very interesting is that that is not the same case for Spanish. We find different patterns for Spanish in terms of growth, and it varies a lot based on the measure that we are using. So we find differences between measures that are capturing morphosyntax and measures that are capturing vocabulary.
Oh, interesting. And does one plateau faster than the other for Spanish?
Yes, correct. So what we observe is that we see gains on vocabulary in Spanish over time still, but measures that are targeting grammar tend to be flat, so showing no growth in Spanish over time as a group. There are some children who make gains, right, and children who don't make as many gains, but as a group, which is what we can do in this study, then we see a plateau effect.
Interesting. Okay, so one further question on that. When you're seeing the flattening, I guess, of the morphosyntax in Spanish, is that resulting from influence from English influence patterns on Spanish?
I don't necessarily think that that plateau is an influence from English. For example, we see growth on measures of subordination index in both languages. And I think it's interesting, right, that subordinate children are making the sentences longer, like they're adding more words and they're making it more complex, but the grammaticality in Spanish doesn't go associated with that, right? So I don't think it's necessarily an influence of English per se. I think it's an influence of the content, the input changes, the amount of input, right, over time changes when children start going to school, even if they are going to bilingual programs, which is the case in our study. I think 95% of our children are in any way in any form of bilingual support.